Kids are gonna pull their hamster around by the cord. And probably lots of parents will not be supervising their kids if they get them this cage. Oh my god.
Hello Munchkins and viewers alike, it's me Munchie and welcome back to a Tiny Tales bad cage review. So I'm reviewing the entire Tiny Tales cage line and they have yet to come out with 2 cages that I just realized I'm probably not going to get to anytime soon, but we have already reviewed the Hexagon Rocket cage, the Castle cage, and the Comfy House cage, which was not as comfy as people seriously thought. So today we are going to be reviewing the race car. And it has LED technology. Well, it just has an LED light set that's not as fancy. It's more like a night light because why not? Have a night light for an animal that is nocturnal. Good idea. It's supposed to be for you, aka the pet owner, aka the child. Because this cage and the other cages are geared towards kids. And unfortunately, you won't like what I have to tell you. Here on the back of this bright and colorful cage here, it says right here, start your engine. Can you help Dash get ready for the big race? Start the engine and watch it glow. Or test your speed on the exercise wheel. Will Dash be first to cross the finish line? Practice makes perfect until race time. So what I hate most right now is that this cage is geared towards kids and it's giving kids the wrong idea for hamsters to be like toys. Hamsters are not like toys, and if you want to have a pet, you should understand the responsibility it takes to own a pet as well as what their needs are. You should not force a pet to do what it doesn't want it to do. You want to understand the pet first before you force it in something such as this tiny cage here. Now, just a quick note before we get into this, hamster associations, hamster clubs, hamster breeders, as well as advocates like myself who foster hamsters and care for them, we advocate for at least 450 square inches in the United States for a cage size. Somebody online has already measured the dimensions for the Tiny Tales race car here, and they say this is 320, which is actually the biggest cage in the entire line. Yes, you heard me right. If you thought the rocket ship was the biggest cage, it is horizontal, unbroken floor space that the hamster needs. They are prey animals and they make burrows to protect themselves, sleep in, and then at night try to survive by foraging and going for more than 5 miles a night just to scavenge around, get food, and bring it back to their burrows. That's why they have those pouches, for those of you who do not know. So each night for a hamster, they run on their wheel an average of 5 miles. That is a lot. So it's crucial to make sure you provide the right type of cage, the right type of enrichment, and know exactly what you're getting into before purchasing an animal, not just for yourself, but for the animal's well-being. So that's why we're taking a look at this cage today, to determine why it is a bad cage. And the first step is to acknowledge that it is a bad cage and see all of its flaws. Now, people can say that they can connect this to a different cage, like say their main cage that is actually 450 square inches or more. That's perfectly fine, but if you make a cage as small as this one that's 320 square inches, a main cage, your hamster is not going to thrive. I would like to note, it says ideal for hamsters, gerbils, and mice. No. Gerbils, absolutely not. Mice, I believe one male mouse can be in a 20-gallon long, which is usually around 360 square inches. So I'm not a mouse owner. I can't advocate for mice in general, but for those mouse owners out there, please let me know if this is a suitable cage or not. But for gerbils, they chew through plastic, so this is a big no-no. Please get your gerbil a tank if you have one. They can easily break out of plastic cages like this. And for hamsters, either a Roborosky, a dwarf hamster, or a Syrian hamster should not be suitable for these cages. It doesn't matter if the hamster is smaller than, say, like a Syrian hamster. Smaller does not mean better. You should not be forcing it into something much smaller just because it has a less significant life than your own. Try to treat an animal with respect and understand its needs, please. So let's jump into making this cage, because you guys love when I make these cages, right? So much fun. And I want to give a big shout out to Pickles12807 for bringing this to our attention and making the first review online of this cage. I checked out her review, I loved it, and now I'm going to be making my own review. And if anybody's wondering, I say this in most of my videos of these bag cages, I do not give this company a cent. Every time I purchase a cage, I then return it within 60 days with a receipt to get my money back. But because I'm doing cage reviews, I'm constantly exchanging one cage to another. But hopefully we can make a difference by telling Petsmart, no, we want bigger cages. Because they won't invest in bigger cages because they fear the consumer will not purchase them because it's going to be too expensive to make, too expensive to ship out. So let's try to be vocal about this and say, hey Petsmart, please listen to us. KT, listen to us. How come you can't? So let's take this out. Oh my gosh. I forgot. This cage has already been assembled. Well, sort of. So I think maybe this is probably going to be the easiest review and the shortest because I don't have to put it together. Hallelujah! It comes as is. But the thing is, you want to make sure you put all the tubes together, right? So we have some entryways right here as well as on the other side. And the top has a sliding lock that you can open. Problem with this is that this is such a tiny opening that the hamster, if you come in from the top, will think you're gonna eat it because it's a prey animal. So anything coming from above, you're gonna spook it. So it's best to interact with your hamster from the side and make sure it has a bigger opening so they're able to be taken out and handled easier. Because with a tiny opening like this, it's going to be difficult for an owner such as yourself if you have this cage to even get your hamster out. But there's also this part here, I think, I remember correctly, this opens up. This will be the side where it's best to interact with your hamster. So this, I guess, is just in case of emergencies or maybe if this breaks, but you should never be using something so small like that. That's why I love bin cages. You can open up the lid. It's huge. You have so much room to interact and to clean. Where this, how are you gonna clean this? Have you thought about that? Maybe I should take this cage apart just to show you how difficult it's going to be to constantly clean it. Looks like the opening here is fine. I can dig around in here. Problem, however, being a long cage, you'll have to, if your hamster's all the way back here, reach in the way back unless it has an opening on this side. Oh, what do you know? It has an opening in its rear. Okay, this cage is not as bad as the other cages. I will say that. All right, so it looks like the sides we cannot take off. But hey, it's okay. If I have these two that I can easily access, it doesn't seem as bad. But oh, the wheels. I wonder how you pop off the wheels. This might be a little bit difficult because I'm feeling this plastic here. And it's nowhere near the rubber material like the other ones when you pop them out to assemble the tubes on the outer sides of the cage. This is definitely a lot harder material. So I'll see exactly how we are going to be assembling the tubes here. Here's the wheel. This wheel is 6 inches. All of their wheels are 6 inches. So it is a step up from, say, other cages they've made, like Great Choice, which has like a 4.5 or 5-inch wheel. So they're stepping up, but it's not ideal for all hamsters because on the box it does say the tubes fits most Syrians, and because they are so vague with their description of hamster, they don't specify what hamster. So unfortunately, Syrians cannot use this wheel at all. I kind of want to try to put my own wheel in here that would be okay and ideal for a smaller size Syrian. Petsmart, hello here. This is not ideal. If you're going to be selling Syrian hamsters, sell Syrian hamster size items. This is ridiculous. And surprisingly enough, Petsmart sells more bigger items for Syrians and more items for hamsters than Petco. Yet Petco isn't making these types of cages. It tells me to open up the trunk. So that's what I will be doing once I cut off this caution tag. What does it say? Use one hand to press the middle of upper wire and the other hand to pull open the bottom enclosure. I assume people, when they were possibly testing out this cage, were having some trouble trying to figure out how to open this up. I mean, if you cannot open up this part, it makes me question if you're really gonna be responsible enough for this pet of yours. I just hope nobody actually did buy this cage, but surprisingly enough, there has been people out there that have commented under my review videos saying they bought the cage I review and that they love it and it's fine. It's fine. Back end open. So since this is facing this way, I'm just gonna pop these out. I'll pop them out over here so you can see how easy that is to pop them out. Pop and pop. Looks like I need to connect all these crazy tubes here, and the picture looks like spaghetti, so it's going to be quite annoying putting all these together, but they look like they are the same similar tube. So that's gonna be fun. The hamster's not going that far in this cage. All they're doing is going from one side of the cage to the other side in these tiny little tubes. I was looking at the photo. It looked like it was doing it right. Nope. Can you please just go inside? Okay. Oh no! Now this side won't go in. Now that won't go in. Oh, I fixed it. I think we got it. We just gotta make sure we can put the water bottle right here. So if you've seen my other reviews, this bottle has a weird design. It actually goes straight down. And every time I put water in these bottles, they always leak. I don't want to, but for this review, I'm gonna have to test this out and show you. All right, so I put a little bit of water in here and it's leaking. But let me just squeeze it. So it makes that noise. But then it continuously keeps leaking. And it's just a bloody water park on my table. All right, let's just drain it and just attach it to the cage. All right, so you gotta attach this part right here. You gotta position it within the cage here. And there you go, you have a water bottle. And then the cup goes inside. And then the last part, which is like super easy, is just putting the wheel in, which has to be done in the front apparently. So if you were to replace this wheel for this cage, you would hopefully be able to fit it in this front compartment. Oh, it's stuck now, there we go. In this front compartment here, and if the wheel doesn't fit in here, you will probably have to take all of this off, which I kind of want to do, but I also don't want to do because if I have to return this, it's going to be annoying to try to put this all back together. But, you know, for review purposes of owners who decide they want to keep this cage for whatever reason, yeah, I'm just going to show you how difficult it is to try to take it off. And for those people out there that say you've had your hamster in this cage for a while and blah, 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 these cages literally just came out, so they have not been around for a good deep clean out there. And now that I put in the wheel here, you can probably see from this side, it doesn't stay up. It is scratching the wire part because it's not sitting up straight. It has to sit there because there's no way you can tighten it. You could probably have it sit up there maybe, but it keeps wanting to fall down to this bar here. So if you try to keep it up there, it's just gonna hit the top. If you wanna keep it in the middle, too bad because it's gonna fall down. But because it's not straight like it's supposed to and goes there, it's gonna be hitting the side a lot. So listen to it. That's going to keep you up at night. And as you can see, it's vibrating the entire cage, so that vibration will keep you or your child up at night. And the worst part is, some parents get so sick and tired of the wheel that they completely remove it from their child's enclosure, not understanding the purpose of the wheel for hamsters. Like I said earlier, hamsters run on average on their wheel 5 miles per night. If you take that away, they become stressed, they become bored, they have bad behavior, they don't want to interact with you, they are always constantly needing something, but they can't get it because you're not providing that for them. So if you take the wheel out of an enclosure because of it's noisy, you are basically torturing your hamster. So please do not do that. So voila! Cage is done. But let's put a hamster inside of here. What hamster should I pick today? So today's hamster I chose was Sahara because you really like seeing Sahara inside of, well, maybe not really liked, but you enjoyed watching Sahara's reaction to the rocket ship cage. So I thought it'd be interesting to see her in the race car today. Now, even though it's 320, which is a lot bigger than the rocket ship, she did scurry about in a panic and she just constantly was going in and out of the tubes. Now, she is my smallest female Syrian, but you've seen Hershey try out the comfy house and she was a 213 gram Syrian. Now, Sahara, she's about 130 grams, so way different. And today I only put in a female Syrian hamster. However, a dwarf hamster should not go in something like this. But for Sahara's reaction, she just didn't like it and she did not use the wheel. And the wheel is way too small. This right here is the KT Silent silent spinner 10-inch, which is actually a lot bigger than my head here. And that is what Sahara is currently running on. She can also run on a 9-inch wheel just fine. If you have a big hamster that needs a bigger wheel because their back's gonna curve if they're placed on something small, please upgrade. This is so huge, much bigger and taller, and this doesn't really provide a lot of height. So your hamster is definitely gonna feel claustrophobic in here and bored. So next I'm gonna try to take this cage apart. I've decided I will take it apart, or try to take it apart, just to show you guys. Yay! We did it! Pretend like I'm cleaning the cage here. La 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 la. Whew, I'm done. So, let's put it back together. One, and... Woohoo! One, and, two. Oh, and this popped out. Oh, that's not good. Come on, you gotta pop in. So much plastic. Ugh. And guess what? When a child and or a person is done having a small animal, because, you know, they're going off to college, they're going and having an exciting life without a small pocket pet by their side, where do you think these cages end up? They're either gonna be thrown away, possibly recycled. I was only told by one person that these hard plastics can be recyclables, but yeah, these are probably gonna end up in landfills, and because these get broken so easily, that they just get trashed. But this is my review of the race car from Tiny Tales, which is a Petsmart brand that just came out. It is an improper cage. It's going to be annoying to clean. It is only 320 square inches, not good size. The wheel is terrible. It's only 6 inches, not good for Syrians. Dwarfs can run on it, however, with the wheel being the way it is and not completely being straight while being secured on the bars, you're gonna have a very noisy wheel, besides these wheels just being noisy in general. And because of the height and the weird design of this one, you're not gonna be able to put anything else in here. If you were to, say, exchange the wheel, or if you wanted to put some hides in here, you would have to put in some really small hides, like dwarf hides. And even then, some of the dwarf hides can be quite big and or long. Even though this is long and it is the biggest one of the line, I am seeing a lot of red flags and a lot of problems that arise from something like this. I do not recommend this cage, and I hope you guys will agree. So if you do, hit like to show your support, and we do have a petition from one of the hamster associations / hamster clubs, so please check it out. It'll be in the description down below, as well as possibly it will be pinned in the comments. You can read up on all of the evidence and reasoning as to why lots of people are advocating to get this line removed from Petsmart and start over, if they're even going to consider thinking about making a line specifically for hamsters, even though it does include gerbils and mice. And if you'd like to say anything about this cage, please do in the comments below. And if you want to be a part of the Munchkin family and see more from me, please subscribe, and we love to have you around. So thanks guys, and I'll see you in the next review. Bye bye!